Hello and welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I am Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping or wholesaling houses in New York, or if you're already doing it, how to grow your business. So by request, got a question: should you hire a general contractor or should you GC, that's short for general contractor, the job yourself, when you're rehabbing a property or doing any work to it? Now, let me explain what a general contractor does and why the answer is it really depends on what your skill set is and what your available resources are. That's really the answer. A general contractor takes a job from a usually a homeowner or an investor and manages that job. So they hire the subcontractors. So they'll hire a plumber if necessary, an electrician, framer. Sometimes a general contractor will do the finishing work. What is this from? Okay. And they will take a profit for it, and as they should, right? They're managing the job. They also take on the responsibility of, why am I not straight here? That's not good. Of the materials. So they buy the materials, and if the materials break in their van, they should not be charging you more. Now, the answer of whether you should manage that job and just hire the subcontractors yourself or hire a GC completely depends on your skill sets. So do you know how to manage a job? Do you know what order things are supposed to go in? Would you know if somebody was ripping you off? Would you know if somebody was doing a bad job? If any of those answers are no, then you should definitely not, absolutely not, GC the job yourself. You should hire a GC, a general contractor, and pay for it. So again, you need to A, know what order things should go, B, know what a good job and a bad job is, and C, know whether somebody's ripping you off or not. Those are important. Now, the second thing is available resources. So assuming you can answer yes to all those three questions, do you have the time and the resources to manage the job, right? So I have students who only want to flip, they don't want to wholesale, and flip or rehab. Sorry. But they don't have the time. They have full-time jobs, so they hire a GC to manage it because they don't have the time. Now, if they had the time, right, then maybe they'd spend their time going there, hiring the subcontractors, and dealing with that bullshit, paying the... You understand something? The general contractor has to pay the subcontractors whether he's getting paid or not. Most of the subcontractors are getting paid on an hourly basis, right? We're going to work for a week, and you're going to pay me $100 a day, for example. Now, sometimes a general contractor can negotiate with the subcontractors where it's based on time work finished, but very often the general contractor has to manage the money in a big way. And what happens all the time is that homeowners go into a contract with a general contractor. The general contractor messes up, doesn't pay the subcontractors, and the subcontractors file a mechanics lien on the property. And the homeowner says, and rightfully so, I paid, right? I had a situation where I used a general contractor who clearly was over his head, and I owed him money, but he hired a HVAC guy, heating, ventilation, air conditioning guy to put in some central air conditioning, and that guy wasn't getting paid, and he came to me and said, "I'm not turning this thing on until you pay me." And I'm like, "I already paid the guy for that," and it became a whole thing. And things like that happen all the time. So as a GC, as a general contractor, or if you're GCing the job, you need to be able to manage the money. Now, if you're taking a hard money loan that's going to pay you in draws, you got to be very careful, because sometimes there's an order that they're going to pay you in. Like, they're not going to pay you the next payment until the kitchen's finished. So you got to make sure you're spending your resources on the thing where you're going to get your money back from it. So again, if you're able to be a GC and you have the time and you can do a good job, it's going to save you 20% of the job. Most GCs are going to operate around 20% margin. Some are going to operate on a much higher margin, right? The high-end guys. So if you can do it, then I would do it. But if you don't have any of the skill sets that I said before, right, you don't know what the hell you're doing, and you don't have the time to really check on what's going on, and you don't have the money to manage when things get tricky where you have to pay somebody before you get paid, then don't do it, right? It's worth it. The money's worth it to pay a GC to do the job. So in the question, the guy said all contractors suck. Most contractors do suck, right? I can tell you in my experience, I had a contractor who was great on one job. When I gave him two jobs, he was terrible. Couldn't manage two jobs. Couldn't manage his labor. Couldn't manage his Materials going to the wrong place. He installed the wrong thing in a house because it's supposed to go to the other. Most contractors were tradesmen, right? They were carpenters, they were plumbers, they were electricians, whatever, and they decided, hey, I want to make more money. But many of them were not business people, and that's part of the problem. Is you're dealing with people who are not business people, and they just don't understand that. They're not. A lot of them are not honest either. I don't mean that they're trying to steal from you, although some of them do. But what they do is they tell you what they think you want to hear. Oh, I'll have it finished by this week, and then it's not even close to being finished. I'll work it over the weekend, and they don't do it over the weekend. These are the kind of things that happen all the time. So you've got to be careful. People ask. One of my number one questions I get is, how do I find a good contractor? I've done multiple videos on it. There is no easy answer, right? There really isn't. If there was some magic way to find contractors, I would tell you. And somebody say, oh, I know, because I went to Home Depot at 6 a.m. and I got the best guy. You got lucky, right? No matter what you do, you can always get somebody who's a dud. Or you get people like me who were good and then sucked. So be careful. It's not easy. It's one of the reasons why I'm really shifting towards doing less work, right? I prefer to wholesale or wholesale deals or do minimal rehabs. I don't like doing major rehabs. One of the reasons is because I don't like dealing with contractors. The other one is I don't like dealing with the municipalities, the building departments. They're nightmares, terrible. Some of them are worse than others, but most of them are bad, and that's the part of the business that I hated. Right. So for the first 4 years I was in business, I gut renovated everything. Right. I wanted to be Tarek Musa from Flip or Flop. I gut renovated everything. I bought it at auction, and I got up to, I think, 16, 17 rehabs at one time, and I wanted to kill myself because I could not manage it. My contractors were terrible. Some guys stole. Materials were going to the wrong place. Municipalities were giving me stop work orders. Everything was a disaster. I couldn't manage it. It's a very, very hard to scale rehabbing. Almost impossible. Some people have done it, but it's very hard. You need a really strong project management staff, right? Really people that you trust, people that are good. I think this is the wrong color for my lighting. I don't know if it's better or worse now. That's worse. Okay. So those are the parts of business that I hate, and that's really why 6 years ago I started going marketing direct to seller, so I can buy properties cheap enough that I can possibly wholesale them to other rehabbers, or choose the ones that I wanted to do and keep away from the ones that had major work. Either way, for me, again, the parts of the business that I can't stand, and I say to people, my goal is to do zero work, but I'll never get there. I'm always buying properties that need some work. So, but the less work I do, the better off I am. And I think anybody with half a brain can start marketing and get 2 flips next year, 2 or 3, and can make $100,000 to $150,000 doing it. It's risky, right? I could be wrong. You may not have the wherewithal to do it, but it's not hard to manage one flip and then go to the next one, or manage one and while it's ending. It's easy to do that. But and you can GC the job yourself if you can answer those questions correctly. But if you don't, then you might want to hire a general contractor, watch him, and then do that a couple of times until you can answer those questions correctly. Remember, those questions are: do you know what order things should go in? Do you know when somebody's doing a good job? And do you know if somebody might be ripping you off, right? And those are not the same thing, right? Somebody can do a bad job without ripping you off. Somebody can do a good job and still rip you off, right? They might charge you 3 times what they should be charging you. So I think that's the basic answer. I hope it was helpful. It's not a straight yes or no, right? Everybody's different, right? I know people that are doing rehabbing that never even dream about general contracting. The reason why they love paying a general contractor because they don't want to do it. And there are people who can't stomach the fact that somebody's going to make 20% over and above what it really costs. Everybody's different. I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in all the ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're interested in finding out more about one-on-one coaching I offer, go to coaching.howtoflipnewyork.com. If you are and if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching on any media channel, please click the thumbs up. The likes really help my SEO, my search engine optimization. A lot more people have been watching my videos lately, so I really appreciate that. And I post 5 times a week. I don't always know what to say. Next week I'm going to be in Dallas. I got to figure out what I'm going to say while I'm in the middle of Investor Fuel. That's fine. But your comments really help me. This came from a question I got from a comment, so keep the comments coming. If it's a simple answer, I'll just reply with an answer. If it's something that I've covered before, I'll send you a link or multiple links to videos on it. And if it's something new, like today's, I will do a brand new video on it in your honor. So thank you for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks again.